All right, the world has been talking about clean and affordable energy. That's among attendees arriving for the fifth day of the United Nations COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow. A main aim of the COP26 talks, of course, is to secure national promises to cut greenhouse gas emissions, mostly from coal, oil and gas. They are sufficient to keep the rise in the average global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Divisions remain amongst wealthy nations pushing for a swift end to the dirty fuels of the Industrial Revolution, and poorer developing countries that rely on cheap, accessible coal and other fossil fuels to grow. And of course, we are in that mix, but COP26 has been good news for South Africa. Joining us now is SABC News correspondent Laura Makin-Isherwood, live from Glasgow. Thank you very much, Laura. So South Africa is expected to be a big beneficiary of the COP summit if the money is used well. This 130 billion rand deal to help us get out of coal and move to renewables. And apparently more countries are online now. India, Indonesia and the Philippines are joining South Africa in that program. Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is all about trying to move away from the kinds of things that we do in our daily lives that basically emit carbon and other greenhouse gases that as a consequence then is warming the planet and bringing it up by too many degree points. Essentially, the target that was set in Paris 6 years ago was for the world to stick below 2 degrees as a limit. There have been estimates that we were going to surpass that if something wasn't done right now. And you're right, there's been a big decision today for more than 40 countries to sign up to an agreement saying they're going to try to transition away from using coal power stations. 23 countries signed up today. That's a big coup there, because it will mean that more carbon dioxide doesn't enter the atmosphere at all. The International Energy Agency has said that that means that their models, along with the other pledges that have been made so far here at COP26, estimate that the global temperatures would rise to around 1.8 degrees, so beneath that 2-degree limit. But there's still a little way to go if we want to get to that 1.5 degree ambition that has been set. For South Africa, there's been a big amount of cash that's being thrown towards South Africa from the UK, the US, France, Germany and the EU. $8.5 billion pledged to help the decarbonisation of the country, to help the country move away from using coal power stations, which of course is a massive part of industry there, a big employer. And so you're right, if that money is used wisely, then hopefully that should move the society, the economy, towards a more greener and sustainable way of working.
I can tell you here that not everybody is welcoming the deal. Some saying if we move too quickly to renewables, we could actually lose out, because we are so reliant on coal, and we actually need better quality coal, and we need those stations to work for as long as possible. Then you have reports that in the midst of all of this, the UK announces a coal deal. Some talk of hypocrisy there. Let's just be clear though, Laura, everybody there is united that there must be an end in sight to the use of coal, an absolute end to the use of coal.
Well, that's the message that the UN and COP26 want to be putting out here, that coal has to end. The EU Commissioner said that, we can't stop now. We've really got to crack on with trying to move away from coal, because it is one of the most polluting of the greenhouse gases. It is one of the most potent, so it can warm the atmosphere more than in terms of capacity and volume. It's one of the biggest contributors. So it is having to be tackled now. But you're right, there is some hesitancy from some countries, some saying that this doesn't suit our economic plan. Our development goals don't fit along that removal of coal. So actually what the push is from developing nations, from the global south, they're asking the global north and developing nations to provide even more money, to provide them with the technology and the assistance to spend that money wisely and ensure there is a viable option. Because these goals for sort of 2030 for even the most developed nations to move away from coal, 2040 for smaller economies, they're not that far away. 9 years, 10 years, up to 20 years. And so consequently there has to be a massive shift in society, and that is difficult without help, without technology and without people offering up a plan that is a sustainable solution.
Yeah, and of course the implementation will be watched. And what about if China's not fully on board? Will it work? These are all the questions. Thank you for that update. And we'll keep checking in with the COP26 summit in Glasgow. That was SABC News correspondent Makin-Isherwood.